From Governor's Comedy Club in Levittown, this is Sports Bash presented by TicketBash.com. Ticket Bash, where memories are made affordable and where you'll never pay a service fee. Sports Bash is also presented by Ryan Anthony's Heating and Air Conditioning Service, keeping Long Island warm for over 18 years, serving their customers in Nassau and Suffolk with pride, honesty, and integrity. For more information, visit www.liboilers.com. Sports Bash is brought to you by the Embassy Diner, located at 4280 Hempstead Turnpike in Bethpage. Every customer is considered family at the Embassy Diner. Mention Sports Bash, get a free dessert with your meal. By Living Legends Memorabilia and Collectibles in Rockville Center, Long Island's go-to store for sports, entertainment, and political memorabilia since 1996. They're also available for charity auctions. Give my friend Warren a call at 516-826-4000. By Bearcat Billing Service, your trusted partner in medical billing. Experience the Bearcat way, personal, professional, and tailored to your needs. Give Gary a call at 516-796-2400. Tell him Sports Bash sent you. By the Marty Lyons Foundation, the official charity of Sports Bash Media, the third annual Evening of Thanks Gala coming up this coming Thursday, November 14th at the Bourne Mansion in Oakdale. Looking forward to attending that. For more information, go to martylyonsfoundation.org. And by Collaborate Studios, a content marketing production facility. For more info, call them at 516-509-8277. Well, hi again, everyone. I'm Peter Schwartz. Welcome to the show. 516-465-3990 is the number to call. Make sure you're subscribing to Gov's Comedy Club podcast on YouTube. Later in the show at around 1:20, I'll be joined by Terence from FE Apparel to discuss their new line of NHL apparel, and I am wearing a piece from the apparel line. This is fantastic. It's an Islanders hoodie, and we'll show off some more stuff when Terence joins me at around 1:20, but this is outstanding. Check out this hoodie. It's got a great, looks like a goalie mask on top, if I could turn to the side. We'll show this off again a little bit later on in the show, but this is awesome. So you want to go to their website and check them out on social media. We're also going to give away an item to a fan later on. We'll tell you about it. It's going to be a social media contest. You want to stay tuned. You'll get a chance to enter a contest to win something from your favorite team. So stay tuned to that a little bit later on in the show. We'll also have the Sports Bash Media poll question of the day, and you want to make sure you check that out. We'll post that question. You'll get a chance to interact with the show that way as well. This segment is presented by the Embassy Diner in Bethpage, where every customer is considered family. The Embassy Diner, located at 4280 Hempstead Turnpike in Bethpage. Mention Sports Bash, get a free dessert with your meal. Looking forward to talking hockey with Terence from FE Apparel in a few minutes, but obviously, we have to start on a Tuesday. If we were doing a Monday show, we'd be starting the same way, but this has been boiling since Sunday. But obviously, this has been a season from hell for the local football teams. This is just, early 70s crap that we're seeing from the Jets and the Giants. And for the, in the case of the Jets, it lingered. It lingered into the early 80s before they finally made a playoff run a couple of times. And for the Giants, things did turn around when they finally hired George Young to run the team. Fans were burning tickets at the Meadowlands because of the crappy play the Giants had back then. Remember the Joe Pisarcik fumble when the Giants had that game won. But this is nuts. Our two local football teams have hit an abyss at the same exact time, and really for different reasons. I'll start with the Giants first, and my dad's got to be rolling over in his grave watching this Giants team play. I told a story on Tony Walker's show, the Knock 'em Dead comedy show, about how I defied my father when I was a kid because the first football game he took me to was a Jet game, so I fell in love with the Jets. Stupid me. I could have had 4 Super Bowl titles in my fan resume, but even the most loyal of Giant fans have to be just absolutely nauseous by what they've seen. And John Mara at some point, as much credit as the Mara family gets for what the Giant franchise has been in their history with the championships and the success that they've had, they have to take a lot of the accountability on this too. And a lot of it really also, from my perspective, again, not being a Giants fan, but watching enough of the product, is a lot of this falls on the shoulders of Joe Schoen and to a certain extent Brian Daboll. But Daboll had a good first year as a Giants head coach, made the playoffs with Daniel Jones at quarterback. They still found a way to get in. But Joe Schoen made the decision to give the money to Daniel Jones and not to Saquon Barkley, and they let Saquon Barkley walk, and look what the season he's having for the Philadelphia Eagles. And for the Giants to keep trotting Daniel Jones out there, I mean, this is the year they can get out of his contract. This is the second year of the new deal. So they can get out of the contract with a very minimal hit after this year. You'll never see him in a Giant uniform after the end of this season. So that's the one thing that Giant fans can latch onto. The Daniel Jones era will end after this year. Now the question is, will it end during the season with, at 2-8, and 7 games to go? At some point, do you turn it over to Drew Lock? Do you go back to Tommy Cutlets, Tommy DeVito? It's just awful, unwatchable, absolutely unwatchable. And if you're a Giants fan, you have to be disgusted by this. And the blame, there's plenty of blame to go around. Obviously, I mean, the players have to do their part. But this falls on the shoulders of Joe Schoen. He put this roster together, and Brian Daboll's responsible for the day-to-day operations of the team. And I saw one reporter have a little bit of a little back and forth with him yesterday. It was a little tense in the day after press conference yesterday with Brian Daboll about the Daniel Jones situation. Listen, they're coming into their bye week. They've got a lot of time here to, before their next game to figure things out, what they're going to do, how they're going to play things going forward. There's no way. You're not going to the playoffs. Obviously, that's the case. But at some point, you do have to try to win a couple of games. I think you could tank for the number one spot. The fans can get into that whole thing. I don't think teams, for the most part, I think there's teams that intentionally don't put the right guys out there and trying to lose games. But I don't think the players that go on the field, the coaches that go and game plan, they're not trying to lose to get a better draft pick. You might have people in the organization want to see that happen, but if you're a player and you're wearing the uniform, losing a game on purpose, unless we're talking about a betting scandal here, losing games on purpose is not part of the DNA of a football player or any athlete. You go out there to try to win. So as long as you're going out there to try to win, you have to put the best possible team on the field. And from a Giants perspective, that does not include Daniel Jones anymore. It doesn't. Tommy Cutlets is a great story. You want to put Tommy DeVito back in there, great. You signed Drew Lock to be the backup. I think he's making $5 million a year. That's who you turn to. If you're trying to win a couple of games here the rest of the way, you go to the best guy. And the best guy is your backup, and that's Drew Lock. Some people think you should skip Drew Lock and just go back to Tommy DeVito because he's a local guy and he made some, news the last, year or so, and, went to all those autograph signings, appearances, made a lot out of little. So maybe you go back to him, but you can't run Daniel Jones out there anymore. Somebody on social media today, this was hysterical. There was I don't know if it was it's not an official Giants account. It might have been that Big Blue Video, Big Blue DVR thing. I saw somebody post a video this morning of a clip from a Giants-Redskins game. And Pat Summerall and John Madden are doing the game on Fox a number of years. Dave Brown, remember Dave Brown was the Giants quarterback? And I think it was Duke. I think it was just like Daniel Jones. Was Dave Brown the Duke guy? Yeah. Or maybe it was North Carolina. Whatever it was. Lousy quarterback also. And and Dave Brown comes off the field with the offense that with 3 and out again, and John Madden, may he rest in peace, said, it's frustrating, and he just can't move the ball. They can't get this offense generated, and it's just not working. And the person who tweeted it out said, John Madden could have said the same thing about the current Giants offense with Daniel Jones. So I think this bye week now for the Giants comes at a time where they can take a deep breath. They know they're not going to the playoffs. Now you can try and do something to salvage the last 7 games of the season. And I would be stunned right now if this combination of Joe Shane and Brian Daboll, unless something strange happens in these last 7 games, I can't imagine John Mara would not want to try and look elsewhere. And you're starting to hear rumblings of Bill Belichick, former Giant assistant coach who won Super Bowls with the Giants and obviously had that great run with the Patriots as head coach. He's out of a job right now, and if he lets it be known through inner circles that he would want to take over the Giants, we know what kind of reverence he has for the Giants franchise. That would be the guy I would look at. But I think if it's anybody but Bill Belichick, I don't know if the Giants go in another direction. They probably should, but the Giants like to have continuity. So I don't know what they'll do. But if Bill Belichick wants to coach your team, how do you say no? Even at, I don't know, how old is Bill Belichick? He's in his 70s. I don't know exactly how old he is. But if you're telling me he can't coach anymore, I would call you a liar. Because the guy can still coach. Listen, I'd love him to coach as much agita and pain and suffering as he caused my Jets. I would love him to take over the Jets for a few years and change the culture, but he'll never come to work for Woody Johnson. And we'll get to that in a second. But the Giants have hit an abyss here, and they've reached a crossroads here where they have to decide what they want to do going forward here. And I think Giant fans will celebrate if they find out that Daniel Jones will not be the starting quarterback after the bye week. And then we have the Jets and that Michigas. And I sound like a broken record because it seems like even on the old show and any other places I'm on where it's The Fan, my old podcast, now here on Sports Bash, and I'm tired of sounding like an angry Jets fan, but I am one. I mean, you can't get around it. And I don't think you have to be a fan of the team to just keep shaking your head at the incompetence, the ineptitude of this franchise. And you can change the players, and you can change the coaches, you can change the people that wash the floors at One Jets Drive. You can change the people who sell hot dogs at MetLife Stadium. Change it all. It doesn't work. What's going on right now just doesn't work. I'm not really a screamer on these shows, but sometimes my blood boils a little bit, especially when it comes to talking about the Jets. This is just like the crap that Jet fans go through every year. And I promise myself, I say the same thing to my wife, Cheryl, every offseason. I'm not going to get sucked in again. I'm not. I can't invest my time in this anymore. We'll go to a game. We'll go to a day of training camp. But like the excitement level, I can't get to that point anymore. I can't. I can't do it. And then what happens? I get sucked in. Went to training camp, watched Aaron Rodgers sling the ball around the field to Garrett Wilson, and you get all pumped up. And you're like, maybe this is the year. Maybe this is the year that finally this just putrid, horrible franchise can finally get it right. If the Boston Red Sox got it right, and the Chicago Cubs got it right, maybe just one year the Jets can get it right. Maybe. And it just doesn't happen. It doesn't happen. And it's getting to be just tiring. We went to the Jet Bronco game earlier this year. Bradley's off at college, so he doesn't have to go to see this Michigas in person. We've made up of the agony of watching the Jets has been made up for by the fact that Bradley's WestCon football team, they're 7-2. and my younger son Jared is coaching flag football, and they're playing in the Super Bowl on Sunday. So at least we have some happiness in the Schwartz household when it comes to football. It's certainly not coming from the Jets. But we went to that Jet-Bronco game earlier this season, and I just, again, walk out of MetLife Stadium, and I just I never leave that place happy. Whether it's a Jet game, then we went to the Islanders-Rangers Stadium Series game last year, and then the Islanders blow that lead late in the third period, and I remember walking out of there that day with my kids and saying, I never leave this place happy. Well, the place it's a terrible place to see a game anyway. I mean, the fact that they spent $1 billion on that place, and you see some of the other stadiums that have been built around the NFL, and you see the palaces like Indianapolis and Dallas and Pittsburgh and Philadelphia, New England. I mean, you can hate the Patriots all you want if you're a Jets fan, but let me tell you something. Bob Kraft got it right there. They built a beautiful stadium. They built that shopping complex around it. And they win. Well, not since a couple of years ago, but I'm just, you know what I'm talking about. They did things the right way in New England. Now they're trying to do it again. But with the Jets, and I've said it before, and again I sound like a broken record, but it starts at the top, and that's goes for any sports franchise. It goes for any business. Look at any Fortune 500 company. Look at any business. Where does it? It starts at the top. You have to want to do things the right way. And this 25-year reign of terror that Woody Johnson has imposed on this Jets franchise, I've had enough of it already. It's tiring. Now, do I think Woody Johnson wants to win? 100%. Who owns a sports team that doesn't want their team to win? That would be ludicrous, and I'm not talking about the rapper. But you have to own the team the right way. You have to hire a president of football operations. You have to let that person hire the GM. Maybe it's the same person. Maybe it's president of football operations / GM. And then you let that person go out and hire the head coach. You can't have these shotgun marriages. It doesn't work. And you can't cut your GM's legs out from under him. He didn't want to bring Hassan Reddick in after he was a holdout. But you basically went, in front of reporters and begging Hassan Reddick to come in, and they worked out a deal, and he came in. I mean, who wanted him around after he didn't show up? And as much as I was excited about Aaron Rodgers coming in, it hasn't worked out. I can't blame Woody on that because I think most Jet fans probably were in the same position that I was in. You're excited about it. You're excited about this defense that has Quinton Williams and Sauce Gardner and C.J. Mosley and DJ Reed and all these guys, and they've all sucked eggs this year. I can sit here for 3 hours and blame Woody Johnson for everything that's gone wrong with the Jets. But at some point, it also comes down to the players. And the players have absolutely sucked. Absolutely sucked. It was probably a mistake to fire Robert Saleh in the middle of the season, but it was also a bigger mistake to even bring him back in the first place. And now you're going to have to start all over again next year. All over. Because you're going to get rid of Joe Douglas. You're going to get rid of the coaching staff, Jeff Ulbrich and the rest of the coaching staff. You're going to start over. And you're going to have candidates for both jobs. And if you want to sit the two of them in a restaurant and hire both at the same time, it's not going to work. So both football teams are an absolute mess. The football season in New York, New Jersey is over. And if you're an NFL fan, you watch the other games. You go get Sunday ticket, or you go to a sports bar and you watch the other games. But if you still love your team like I do, I still sit there when I can and sit in front of the TV and watch the Jets. I saw somebody, and there's been some mentions of this on social media, and I'm going to close out the segment with this. I saw somebody tweet, and other people have agreed and shared in the sentiment, don't let your kids be Jet fans. You're a bad parent if you let your kids be Jet fans. And I'll leave you with this story, and then we'll get to a break, and we'll get to Terence Toe from FE Apparel on the other side of the break. I had the same conversation with both of my sons, Bradley and Jared, within an hour after they were born. So I'll go back to 2005 when Bradley was born and 2010 when Jared was born. Cheryl is recovering. I go with the nurse both times with Bradley and Jared. The nurse is cleaning them both up while Cheryl is recovering in the recovery room. And I had the same chat with both of them. I said, welcome to the world. Mommy and Daddy love you very, very much. But I do have to tell you that since Mommy and Daddy have had to suffer, you have to suffer too. I want to tell you that you're a Jets fan. And maybe it was just being poetic, but both kids had the same reaction. They both started crying hysterically. And they knew. They weren't even on planet Earth for an hour. And when I gave them both the speech that they were Jet fans, they both started crying. Said, sorry, Mommy and Daddy have to suffer with this nonsense. You guys have to suffer too. So I don't want to say I apologize to them, but my point being is that you're born into it. You root for a team. You don't give up on it. And as I tweeted yesterday when I saw that, Jet fans, always and forever, we'll have our time. I don't know if it'll be under this ownership group, but we'll have our time. And that's enough on the Jets. Let's talk about something that is a little happier, and that's hockey season is well underway. And if you're a hockey fan, great line of apparel from Effie Apparel. I'm wearing a sample of it right now, a great Islanders hoodie. When we come back on the show, we're going to talk to Terence from Effie Apparel about this new line. We'll have a giveaway and a great deal for Sports Bash viewers. It's all coming up right after this. Hi, I'm Peter Schwartz.
And I'm Vinny Tickets.
We want to take a moment to talk about our fantastic sponsor, the Embassy Diner.
Embassy Diner has been a beloved staple in the restaurant industry for over 50 years. And the great thing about it is when you walk through the door, you're not a customer, you are family. Every visit promises to be filled with warmth, love, and respect.
And here's an extra treat. If you mention Sports Bash during your visit, you enjoy a free dessert on the Embassy Diner.
Come on down to the Embassy Diner, where great food and great company are always on the menu.
Visit the Embassy Diner, located at 4280 Hempstead Turnpike in Bethpage.
In 1982, the Marty Lyons Foundation began with a single heartfelt mission: to bring moments of joy and hope to critically ill children by granting wishes that make their dreams come true. Since that day, we have touched the lives of over 8,500 families, raising over $43 million to grant wishes that offer a beacon of light in their darkest times. These precious wishes cost an average of $6,700 each, and your support is crucial to our mission. Every donation, big or small, makes a difference. And with 76 cents of every dollar going directly to supporting our families, you can rest assured your support truly changes lives. The Marty Lyons Foundation operates 11 chapters in 14 states now, working tirelessly to reach as many children as we can. This dedication goes hand in hand with our commitment to transparency and accountability, earning us top ratings on Charity Navigator, Great Nonprofits, and Candid, which underscores our dedication to those we serve. The Marty Lyons Foundation grants wishes to children ages 3 to 17. And what really makes this foundation so special is our willingness to grant not only a first wish, but also consider a second wish to a child who continues to battle a life-threatening illness. We stand by these children, offering them hope and strength through the power of dreams, giving our children the courage to wish for more.
What's your purpose in life? Is your purpose in life to live in the big house and drive the nice car? No. Your purpose in this life is to make it a little bit better for those that follow and realize that we live for today to see a better tomorrow.
Visit MartyLyonsFoundation.org to learn more and get involved. In 1982,
Welcome back to Sports Bash, presented by TicketBash.com. I'm Peter Schwartz. 516-465-3990 is the number to call here on the program. Make sure you are subscribing to Gov's Comedy Club podcasts. And this segment of Sports Bash is presented by Ryan Anthony's Heating and Air Conditioning Service, keeping Long Island warm for over 18 years, serving their customers in Nassau and Suffolk with pride, honesty, and integrity. For more information, visit www.liboilers.com. About to welcome in a new friend of the program. He is Terence from Apparel. But before I bring him in, a real funny story. So we were in communication last week about arranging for him to call in, and we're emailing back and forth, and he tells me that he's going to be at the Islanders Devils game on Saturday night at UBS Arena. I'm like, oh, I'm going with my family. We actually surprised my older son Bradley. We were at his football game earlier in the day at Western Connecticut, and we surprised him after the game. Said, oh, we're gonna go home. You come home with us. We're gonna go to the game. We wound up hitting a boatload of traffic, and we got to the game a few minutes late, and I texted Terence at some point during the game, hey, we got to the game late. Maybe we can hook up after the second period. And he said, great, just let me know what section you're in. I said, oh, I was sitting in section 112. And he's like, oh, I'm sitting in section 112. And I'm like, oh, so we were going to meet after the second period. And then I said, oh, we're sitting in section 112, row 18, and I'm wearing a Mike Bossy jersey. And the next thing I know is I hear somebody down the row going, hey, Peter. I look down and he's wearing like a Devils Apparel shirt. I'm like, I guess we got our tickets from the same place. So you couldn't have planned that any better, as my wife said. But we want to welcome into the show Terence from Apparel. They have a great new line of NHL apparel. And Terence, it was nice to meet you at the game on Saturday night, and thanks for joining us.
Thank you so much for having me and us, Peter. Yes, it was funny how it all turned out being right next to each other.
Absolutely hysterical. But thank you for the Islanders hoodie that I'm wearing, and we're going to tell fans in a few minutes about a great giveaway we're going to do. But tell us a little bit about Effie Apparel and how you got to the deal with the NHL to come out with this great line of merch.
Well, I was sharing a little bit with you, but this has really been going on 3 years in the making. Because between the NHL, there were also a couple other parties involved in the Legends of the Game collection that we're just launching. We had to work with the NHL Alumni Association, along with Getty Images, who owns the rights to all of the photography. So it's been a long journey, but very gratifying to finally reach this point where we're launching. Our whole team has worked very, very hard on this. And it really started with our company background. So our parent company, A.W. Chang, we're an apparel manufacturer. This is our 35th year in business. So we're not new as a company, but we're known in the industry for our digital printing, which you can see on the Legends of the Game collection, as well as
it's phenomenal. You guys do great stuff. I mean, everything looks so sharp.
Thank you. Thank you so much. So we've been doing this for a long time, and when we started thinking about where to expand, the NHL was an opportunity that we were very excited about. Obviously, as a hockey fan yourself, NHL fans are among the most passionate in all of sports and love cool stuff. So we felt like it was a good fit for what we do well as a company, and we're very excited to finally be launching now.
Sustainability is something that I've seen on your website and your social media post, the description of the apparel. Tell us about the sustainability of the apparel and this line that you have that looks so sharp and so amazing. Tell us about how important the sustainability is for the company.
Sure. Sustainability is a very, very important value for us as a company overall. The entire line in FE is fabric made of recycled yarn, which was very important to us. We still continue to own and operate our own fabric mill. So we're 100% vertical. All of the fabric in the collection is dyed, printed, and finished at our own mill before we sew it in our factories. And our fabric mill is powered by 1,550 solar panels that we finished installing and went online with in February of 2022. So going on almost 2 years now that we've been running our mill on solar. And these are just a few of the sustainability initiatives that we've tried to take on as an apparel manufacturer to try and reduce as much as possible our footprint and try to manufacture responsibly, sustainably, and do our part.
We saw a picture of the Islanders hoodie that I'm wearing. So I did this at the beginning of the show, but for people who just saw that picture of the Islanders hoodie, and these are great because it makes the hoodie look like the helmet. And I love this. I love the hoodie is fantastic, and you have them for the other teams as well. And I can't believe I'm actually doing this, but just for equal time. And I can tell you right now, as soon as the show is over, I'm sending this off to my nephew because we don't have any Rangers stuff allowed in our house. But this is the Rangers hoodie that you were very, very nice enough to send over, and there's the hood part of it, and it's got the Ranger logo on their jersey on the back. Just unbelievable attention to detail in the items. Tell us about the hoodies and the way you guys designed them and why they look so amazing. How were you able to pull this off?
Well, the hoodies are one great example of what makes us very different in the apparel industry. It goes back to our digital printing expertise. We were really one of the first. The technology has come a long way, and we've been digital printing for 8-9 years now, so very early on. And the thought process with the hoodies was, most fans, when they go to a game, there's that uniform, right? There's the hoodie underneath the jersey. And all of the time, the hood is just solid. And we felt like, why does it have to be solid? We wanted to do something different than the rest of the industry. The licensed sports space is very, very crowded. There's lots of people in it already. So we wanted to make sure that we were doing something different. And the hood, we felt, is a perfect canvas for us to digital print on. And we took the inspiration, like you mentioned, Peter, from goaltender helmet art. Obviously, that's kind of a big subculture within hockey. Usually before every season, every goalie has their helmet artist come up with a new design for the season,
Yep.
and they get a new mask. So we felt like that's one of the really special things about hockey, is pretty much unlike most any other sport where everyone is wearing the same thing. Goaltenders have that, unique chance to really show, whether it's some of their personality, honor the history of the team, and have that helmet art. So we wanted to use the hood and kind of do the same thing. And it really allowed our design team to be very creative and hand draw, just like they do, on the iPads that they do for goalie helmet art, and create custom designs for every team based on, obviously with the Islanders, there's Long Island imagery on there, and every team's hood is
I like
custom.
the Devils one. We just saw the picture of the Devils one. You got like the map of New Jersey on there too, so that's actually really sharp as well.
Yes. So very similar concept to the way that goalies, would give direction to their helmet artists. Like, hey, this is what I want to do this year. This is what I want on it. Our team kind of took that same mentality to try and create special art for every team.
Yeah, they came out absolutely great, and there's something for every NHL fan, and that brings us to a good time to bring this up. Everybody at FE Apparel was very nice enough to come up with a code for the Sports Bash viewers and the hockey fans all over. If you're in the tri-state area, even if you're not an Islanders, Rangers, or Devils fan, they have items for all the teams, so you can use the code BASH25 for 25% off any order at FE Apparel's website, and that code will be good through December 31st. 31st of 2024, so through the end of this year. And we're actually also, you want to stay tuned to this after the show. We're going to post this on social media. We're going to have a contest. It's really more of a drawing. We're going to have to go to the Sports Bash Media, X/Twitter, Instagram, and also Facebook. And what we'll do is you'll respond to that post with your favorite team's name, and we will pick a winner at random on Thursday morning. We'll announce the winner on the show on Thursday, so that's coming up after the show. Look for that social media post as we give away an NHL item from FE Apparel. The Legends of the Game bomber jackets. You were wearing the Martin Brodeur jacket on Saturday. Yeah, listen, I'm not a Devils fan, but I have to say it looked great. I know you've got the Dennis Potvin one for the Islanders, Mark Messier for the Rangers. They came out fantastic. Tell us a little bit about that and the series of the bomber jackets.
Yeah, it was really gratifying on Saturday. We just got the Dennis Potvin bomber into the Isles Lab store at UBS, so it just got there a couple days ago. So it was amazing to see it in the store.
That's quite a store, isn't it? Isn't that a great store?
Incredible. The merchandising, the way they have it set up, the breadth of assortment, one of the best stores I've seen out there.
And the jackets look amazing. And I mean, that's a difficult process for you guys, because not only do you have to work out, the deals with, the league, with the NHL, and also with the Islanders, but now when it comes to the likeness of the players, you have to go through the players, or in some cases, you have to go through the families in order to get the permission to do that, right?
Yes. It was, even as a lifelong hockey fan, I think that was a very interesting aspect of this project was, the licensing piece of it, and how it's really a big puzzle. You have the league, which they've been supported from day one. So it's been incredible partnering with them, but working also very closely with the Alumni Association, who represent many, but not all, of players who have retired. Some players don't join the Alumni Association right away. Some, for one reason or another, never actually end up joining. So you run into some challenges there. And then all of the photography, again, like you mentioned, the rights belong to Getty. So partnering with them also to select the photos that we're able to use for each player.
I saw the Martin Brodeur one, showed one of the pictures a little bit earlier on. Behind you, you've got some stuff that you have behind where you're sitting there in your office. You want to show off anything in particular that's behind you up there? Because I'm sure people that are watching are like, well, what's behind Terence up there in that office?
So behind me, we have the full Legends of the Game collection, the inaugural launch. There's 20 players. I have Messier, Brodeur, obviously the Potvin one that's in Al's lab. We have Patrick Waugh when he was with Colorado, obviously the head coach of the Islanders now. And then another 16 guys to round out the collection. Just reeling off a couple: Nicholas Lidstrom, Peter Forsberg, Gretz, obviously, Joe Sakic. A bunch of the names of, the guys you would imagine you'd start with.
Yeah, they're all. I've heard of all of them, by the way. Oh, it's great. Terence Toe from FE Apparel. How can people order the apparel? What's the website? And again, for those who go to the website and want to order anything, make sure you use the code BASH25 for 25% off. How can people take a look at the NHL apparel and order it?
So our website is fe-apparel.com. That's the best place. We're on social. FE Apparel Co. is our social handle across the different social media platforms. And then, as we mentioned, we're in the Al's Lab store. We're at the Rangers team store at MSG. We are about to ship the Devil's Den store at Prudential Center. So we'll have all three Metro New York teams covered within the next week or two here. And then we're expanding to the other teams too. And we're also at the NHL shop.
Oh, good.
Hudson Yards.
Yeah, that's quite a store too. My kids like, grabbing the credit card and going in there. So, yeah, we're very familiar with that. By the way, now that we're, we have a new friend of the program, I do appreciate that you did not rub it in the other night after the Islanders blew that lead in the third period and the Devils won in overtime. So I appreciate the fact that this was a nice civil conversation, Terence.
Absolutely. I feel like you should be gracious in victory or defeat.
Well, we'll get you the next time, but thank you so much for coming on board, and appreciate it. And please stay in touch. It's great to hook up with you guys and have you guys part of the Sports Bash family.
Thank you, Peter. And I did want to just finish and share with you some news that we just received earlier today.
Okay.
Actually, just before I came on. So we will be having a launch event for FE and the Legends of the Game collection at the NHL shop in Hudson Yards on December 2nd in the afternoon before the Devils play the Rangers at MSG that night.
Okay.
Martin Brodeur and Mike Richter will be making appearances at that event. So we're very, very excited. The league has been awesome in helping us put that together. So that should be a great event.
Oh, that'll be
p.m.
That'll be fantastic. That'll be Well, make sure I get that invite so I can stop by. It happens to be my son Bradley's birthday that day, but he's away at college, so I should be able to come and spend some time there that day. But thanks so much for joining us on the show.
Thank you so much for having us, Peter.
Awesome. Terence Toe from FE Apparel. Great line of merch. I'm wearing the Islanders hoodie. There's so many other great things. Go to their website. Again, Bash25 for 25% off through December 31st. And stay tuned a little bit later on today to our social media platforms, including my own. We're going to have a contest, a drawing for an NHL item from FE Apparel, so you want to stay tuned for that. So again, thanks to Terence Toe and everybody on the team at FE Apparel. When we come back here on Sports Bash, we'll talk about the Yankees and the Mets' pursuit of Juan Soto. Other teams are involved as well. I'll give some thoughts on what I think will happen there. We'll also have the Sports Bash Media poll question of the day. Still more to come when Sports Bash rolls on right after this.
Chiropractic Care Plus, Dr. Anthony Ippolito has been helping Long Islanders recover from pain and injuries since 1993. Whether from auto accidents, work injuries,
Lions Foundation began with a single heartfelt mission: to bring moments of joy and hope to critically ill children by granting wishes that make their dreams come true. Since that day, we have touched the lives of over 8,500 families, raising over $43 million to grant wishes that offer a beacon of light in their darkest times. These precious wishes cost an average of $6,700 each, and your support is crucial to our mission. Every donation, big or small, makes a difference. And with 76 cents of every dollar going directly to supporting our families, you can rest assured your support truly changes lives. The Marty Lyons Foundation operates 11 chapters in 14 states now, working tirelessly to reach as many children as we can. This dedication goes hand in hand with our commitment to transparency and accountability, earning us top ratings on Charity Navigator, Great Nonprofits, and Candid, which underscores our dedication to those we serve. The Marty Lyons Foundation grants wishes to children ages 3 to 17. And what really makes this foundation so special is our willingness to grant not only a first wish, but also consider a second wish to a child who continues to battle a life-threatening illness. We stand by these children, offering them hope and strength through the power of dreams, giving our children the courage to wish for more.
What's your purpose in life? Is your purpose in life to live in the big house and drive the nice car? No. Your purpose in this life is to make it a little bit better for those that follow and realize that we live for today to see a better tomorrow.
Visit MartyLyonsFoundation.org to learn more and get involved.
They use proven methods to get you back to your best. Chiropractic Care Plus is located at 1 John Street, Suite 150 in Babylon, New York. Call 631-669-6221 to schedule your appointment today.
Hi, I'm Peter Schwartz.
And I'm Vinny Tickets.
We want to take a moment to talk about our fantastic sponsor, the Embassy Diner.
Embassy Diner has been a beloved staple in the restaurant industry for over 50 years. And the great thing about it is when you walk through the door, you're not a customer, you are family. Every visit promises to be filled with warmth, love, and respect.
And here's an extra treat. If you mention Sports Bash during your visit, you enjoy a free dessert on the Embassy Diner.
Come on down to the Embassy Diner, where great food and great company are always on the menu.
Visit the Embassy Diner, located at 4280 Hempstead Turnpike in Bethpage.
At Chiropractic Care Plus, Dr. Anthony Ippolito has been helping Long Islanders recover from pain and injuries since 1993. Whether from auto accidents, work injuries, or everyday aches, they use proven methods to get you back to your best.
Welcome back to Sports Bash, presented by TicketBash.com. 516-465-3990 is the number to call. Make sure you are subscribing to Gov's Comedy Club podcast on YouTube. Again, special thanks to Terence from Apparel for jumping on with us and talking about their new line of NHL apparel. I'm wearing the Islanders hoodie, but you're going to want to go online and check out everything. If you're an Islanders fan, Ranger fan, Devil fan, any fan of the NHL, they have some great stuff, and you can use the code BASH25 for 25% off, and that code will be good through December 31st. And after the show, we'll be posting information on social media about a drawing for an NHL item courtesy of Effie Apparel, so stay tuned for that. This segment of Sports Bash is presented by Living Legends Memorabilia and Collectibles in Rockville Center, Long Island's go-to store for sports and entertainment and political memorabilia since 1996. They're also available for charity auctions. Give Warren a call at 516-826-4000. Before we get to the Sports Bash Media poll question of the day, and we'll talk a little bit about Juan Soto as well, and would love to hear from you if you're a Yankee or Mets fan, where you think he's going to wind up. There appears to be some other teams involved now, but would love to hear from you at 516-465-3990. So my friend Larry, my dear friend Larry, calls me up and says, someone gave him this huge collection of baseball cards and some other stuff, and he said, do you want it for the boys, for you? Do you think, do you want it? And I said, well, how much stuff is there? And he's like, there's a few boxes, a couple of boxes, some stuff. And I said, sure, we'll take it. We'll take a look at it. So Larry also went to my son Bradley's football game on Saturday at Western Connecticut. So we decided that after the game, we made sure that he got there a little bit after we did. So he parked right next to our car so that we can just move the stuff from his car into our car. And so the game ends. By the way, Bradley's team won 76-18. So they improved to 7-2. That's a juggernaut as they head towards a postseason appearance somewhere. We'll find out where that is. But yeah, so it was a real tight game, a real nail biter, 76-18. So we get back to the car, and Larry opens up his car and proceeds to pull out two giant suitcases. And my wife Cheryl is like, I thought it was a couple of boxes. I said, I thought so too. I said, Larry, you said it was a couple of boxes. He goes, yeah, it's a couple of boxes. I'm like, no, you said a couple of boxes, not a couple of suitcases. So he opens up the two suitcases filled with boxes and books of cards and other bags of stuff. And I think I know why Larry knew that it would be okay to give it to us, because when me and Cheryl moved into our first apartment together before we were married, Larry came to help us unpack some boxes. And so he was a little surprised when I said, that those bobbleheads, the sports memorabilia is going to go in the living room on the shelf. And he said, you're allowed to put this stuff out in the open like this? And I said, yeah, why not? And I was like, so I don't think, he had his own little office at his house where he had to put all of his sports stuff. So he was amazed that, I was able to put it out. So like, my wife loves sports too, so it's, why would we put like nice stuff out? I mean, we have other things, not just sports. So it's my stuff. My wife said, it's your apartment too, so you get to put stuff out, right? So I think that's why Larry probably knew that it was going to be okay to hand over this monstrous collection of stuff. I think some people might refer to it as something else, but it was a lot of stuff. But as my son Jared and I went through the stuff yesterday, a lot of great stuff in this collection. We still have to go through it. But one of the things that struck me was this, and as soon as I showed it to Tony Walker before the show, he's like, oh, I think I have that at home. Now, I don't know if the camera can catch it, but it is a booklet of reprints of famous old baseball cards. Tony, I know this struck a chord with you.
Yeah, well, and if you want, I could hold it closer to the camera. But yeah,
but I want to make sure there's the famous Honus Wagner card is right there.
So, which is that? Yeah, right.
Yeah,
there it is, right there.
There it is, the famous Honus Wagner card. I think it was a T206. I think it was the number on the card. I think that was the number on the card. I think it was It was called T206. Let me look on the back. It doesn't say it, but I think that was the number because I remember Wayne Gretzky and former LA Kings owner Bruce McNall. I think they once went partners to buy one.
Oh, is that right?
And I think the number on it was T206.
Oh, wow.
But in any event, this was awesome. Like I was a kid in the candy store, like going through this because there's like a bunch of Yankees here too.
Yeah.
And I'll hold up Babe Ruth, Lou Gehrig. Just a tremendous. I said to my son,
Joe D. right
Joe
there.
D. is on the back. I mean, this is great. I don't know where this came from. I don't know how the person who this collection belonged to got this, where it came from, but it is just absolutely tremendous. And I said to my son Jared, I'm like, Dad's keeping this. You can go through the box, the other boxes of cards. Dad is keeping this. This is phenomenal. There was some great stuff. I know you saw. I posted on social media. There was a set of hockey cards.
Yes.
And back when the NHL was, celebrating an anniversary, they had celebrity captains for each team. This is a number of years ago, and the Islanders celebrity captain was Ralph Macchio.
Long Island's own,
big Islanders fan from the Karate Kid and my cousin Vinny, these two Utes. So I had the card, and now I have the card, and let's see if I can get it autographed. Great story about Ralph Macchio. You got a second?
Yeah.
We do. We have 9 minutes left on the show. Or maybe some overtime. We'll see how it goes. So a few years ago, my family and I are guests of the Islanders co-owner John Ledecky in his suite at an Islanders game. So it was in Barclays Center when the Islanders were still playing in Brooklyn. So the suite is like actually two suites adjoined by a little wall in the middle, so you can see from one suite into the other suite.
Okay.
And we're sitting there watching the game and look to see who's in the other suite. Ralph Macchio and his wife.
Oh, wow.
Are in the other suite. So it's the third period. The game is tied, Islanders and Bruins, and Ralph Macchio's wife says, I lost my ring. Not her wedding ring, but like another piece of jewelry. She was another ring. I lost my ring. And looking at it through the, Ralph's trying to find it. He's on all fours under the row of seats in the front of John Ledecky's suite, trying to find this ring.
Yeah.
And now the game starts again. Like they come back from the break, and the third period is starting, and he can't find the ring anywhere. So finally, he gets up and goes, "Sweetheart, I'll buy you another ring. It's 1-1 in the third period," or whatever the score. Thing was tied in the third period. He's like 2-2, whatever it was. It goes, "I'll find." And then, so the game starts, and I'm actually was talking to him during the break. We were striking up good conversation. So I said, "Hey Ralph, you want my two Utes to help you find the ring?" And he looked up at me. He started to crack up a little bit, and it was like that was a funny moment. They wound up finding the ring. Like, the next break, they found the ring.
Who found it? The Utes?
No. They were too busy stuffing their face and watching the game. No. He found it. It had bounced somewhere else. Do we have a phone call, or did he drop off?
He left.
He dropped off.
Yeah.
Well, there was a phone caller, so if you want to still call the show, it's 516, and I have to remember this number by heart now going forward, 516-465-3990. It took me a while to learn the number at the old place, so it'll take me a while to memorize it here as well. 516-465-3990, the number to call. And it is time now for the Sports Bash Media poll question of the day. And this is what we do. Every weekday, we post a new question. And on Tuesdays and Thursdays, we share it here on the show. But on Sports Bash Media's X/Twitter page, we do a new poll question every single weekday. And here is this question. And it's kind of a rehash of a question that we ran, a couple of months ago about the Jets. So I thought it would be a good idea in the aftermath of the Michigas in Arizona on Sunday that we would kind of run this question again. Who should be the next head coach of the New York Jets? Comment if your choice is not listed. And again, when I say comment, well, my argument doesn't apply here, because if I give you three choices and then say other, comment below, other people have answered the poll and they check off other, but then they don't comment. So now you're forced to comment. If you don't see your choice here in these four choices, you have to comment. Rex Ryan, who is practically begging for that job every morning on ESPN, he would love to come back and be the coach of the Jets for Rex Ryan 2.0. Mike Vrabel, the former Titans head coach. Aaron Glenn, who is now the defensive coordinator for the Detroit Lions, and what a game that was on Sunday night as the Lions came back and beat the Houston Texans. And this is a name that, Joe Benigno was on the show a few weeks ago, and he wants Rex Ryan to come back in the worst way. But on FAN yesterday, and I thought I'd throw this in here on our poll, he brought up Deion Sanders. Would he come over from the University of Colorado, where he's doing a great job? So your choices are Rex Ryan, Mike Vrabel, Aaron Glenn, or Deion Sanders. Those are your four choices. Who would you want to be as head coach? By the way, my choice, and sometimes it's not great to be sentimental about these things, but I would love to see Aaron Glenn be the new Jets head coach. He was a great Jets corner. He's turned out to be a great defensive coordinator with the Lions, and I know people are like saying, "Oh, you can't hire another coordinator, another young coach, and go hire a retread, somebody with experience." And I'm like, you know what? To me, something feels right about Aaron Glenn. I think he's going to be a good head coach in the National Football League, and what better, have a former Jet player be the one that finally gets this Jet crap turned around in the right direction. Wanted to close with some baseball. Obviously, free agency and the off season is here, and we've talked about this. I remember going back to the beginning of the season when the Yankees and the Mets were about to start, and the Yankees had traded for Juan Soto, and I'm like, if they only get him for 1 year. I mean, there was parts of me that didn't really want the Yankees to make that trade, because they gave up Michael King in that trade, and I didn't really want to see him go. But they did it, and they got Juan Soto, and now he's a finalist for MVP. Aaron Judge is going to win it, but Soto's a finalist, had a great season with the Yankees, helped them get to the World Series, had the game-winning home run in the American League Championship Series. But now, and he made it clear after the Yankees lost to the Dodgers, he's going to be open to all bidders, and now we know Mets owner Steve Cohen is flying to California to meet with Soto and Scott Boras. We know that the Yankees are going to send a contingent as well. Hal Steinbrenner is going to go. Obviously, Brian Cashman will be there. We found out yesterday that Aaron Boone is going to go on that trip as well. We're also hearing that there's some mystery teams, and we know that the Boston Red Sox have been identified. I would assume the Dodgers are going to want to talk to them as well. They print money. Again, I've said this before. Everybody who ripped the Yankees during the George Steinbrenner era about spending money hand over foot, you owe the Yankees an apology for those words, because you see what the Dodgers are doing now. They have no regard for the salary cap. They're going over that luxury tax. Not that there's a salary cap in baseball, there's a luxury tax. But they have no regard for anything. They're going to be in on this Japanese pitcher that just got posted by his Japanese team. So the Dodgers are in it. And this crazy thing was mentioned the other day that Tampa Bay Rays have checked in on Juan Soto. I almost fell off my chair when I read this on Twitter the other day. The Tampa Bay Rays, they checked in. They don't have a roof on their stadium right now. Not to diminish the damage that was done in Florida because of the storm, but I mean, listen, you think you're gonna take your bottles back to the recycling place, enough of them to have money to pay for Juan Soto? The Tampa Bay Rays, I honestly think, again, this is coming down to the Yankees and the Mets. And I don't know what that final number is going to be, but and I hope I'm wrong. He's going to go to the highest bidder. And I have a hard time believing in my heart of hearts that Hal Steinbrenner can write a bigger check than Steve Cohen. I just don't know how it's possible. And there's not going to be a hometown discount. There's not going to be, we got to the World Series with the Yankees. Let's just, go there, take a little bit less. I don't think it's going to work that way. I think he's going to go to the highest bidder. I've maintained that all along. And I think he's going to the Mets. We have a phone caller. It's Mark. Mark, you're up on Sports Bash.
Listen, I have a new moniker for myself and all the other fans of this new show, which is fantastic. I think that we should be called Bashers. Is that okay if we call ourselves the Bashers?
Hey, listen, I'm open to ideas. We'll run it past the executive committee, but I like it.
You let the board know.
Yes.
And I just wanted to, I know you're talking about the Jets and the Giants. Here's my stance on the Giants. I'm not concerned about the Giants. We're all, me, you, Tony, were born in the same era, late 60s, early 70s. Mm-hmm. My closest friends who are diehard Giants fans have seen not one, not two, not three, but 4 championships, 4 Super Bowls. So for me, the Giants can suffer. I have no issue with that.
Yeah.
But it's poor slobs like me, you, and your producer, Tony Walker, that are every single year in another cluster F, pardon the French.
No, you can say it. It's okay. We're on YouTube. You can say whatever you want. I won't say it, but you could say it if you want to.
It's a total disaster. And you know what's crazy, and I want to hear your take on this. Everybody went into this season, all the pundits, all the experts saying that this is going to be the year, AFC Championship, Super Bowl. Not only is that not happening, but standing here today on November 12th as Jet fans, we may be in the worst situation we've been in an eternity because we thought we had the quarterback, we don't. We thought we had a coach, we don't. Mm-hmm. We don't have Sauce Gardner's potentially a bum all of a sudden. The defense stinks. The wideouts, the all-pro wideouts, they're not any good. So what do we have right now to look forward to? We need a coach, we need a quarterback, and we probably need a defense. We're at square one here. What do we do?
Well, I think the one thing we do have to look forward to is that as soon as the season is over, I'm sure Dick's Sporting Goods is going to have a big sale on Jets stuff, so you can probably get a good deal on Jet merch before next season starts.
I love the silver lining, Peter. Keep it going.
All joking aside, I agree. It's been a complete and total mess. And I don't know how it gets fixed because it still comes down to the fact that the problem lies at the very top, and that's Woody Johnson. Now, granted, he might now go back to the UK under the Trump administration, so we think that's going to happen. But then he's going to turn it over to his brother Chris. And let's be honest, Christopher Johnson hired Adam Gase, so we have that to look forward to if he has to hire a new head coach again. So I just don't trust this ownership to ever do it the right way, to set up the football department the right way it needs to be done, to hire the best person. And be honest, if you're the best candidates out there right now and you've got a choice of teams to go to, are you coming to the Jets?
I mean, unless I'm really desperate for a job, I'm not.
Well, there's going to be but see, the point being is that I've seen people say on social media, nobody will take the Jets job. That's just not right because if you're a coach looking for, there's only 32 NFL jobs. But if you're one of the primo candidates that has 4 or 5 different choices to go to, you may not pick the Jets because the other situations are better. But the Jets will find a head coach somewhere. I just don't know if it's going to be You think Mike Vrabel is going to take this job?
Someone's going to wind up with the job that we're all going to get excited about. My concern, and I have no problem. I've bashed Woody and Chris Johnson forever. But let's just put that aside for a second, okay? To play devil's advocate.
Yeah.
If we look, and you told me going into this season that my quarterback was going to be Aaron Rodgers, that my best defenseman was going to be, I'm going to have Sauce Gardner, and I'm going to have Quinnen Williams, and I'm going to have, on offense, I'm going to have Breece Hall and Devontae Adams, and I'm going to have, all these players. I'm saying, let's go to war with this team. So we're going to go.
I got sucked in again. I got sucked in again because I got sucked in last year, and I said it wasn't going to happen again, and I got sucked in again this year.
So are we really like, are we bashing Woody Johnson and Chris Johnson? Or are we just saying that the guys that we have, maybe it's okay for us to bash the players? Let's bash Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah, I said it before. The players have sucked. There's no question about it. There's a lot of blame to go around. But again, my point is, for the last 25 years, the biggest problem, regardless of how bad the players had, the biggest problem has been the ownership.
I mean, I guess that's definitely true, but I have to tell you, and I know you're at the end of your show here. It's really amazing.
Tony will leave me the keys. It's okay. It's fine.
It's really amazing to me, and I'm not going to mention any name because some of these are your colleagues on the other station, but I woke up this morning still hearing the words running the table and how they get in.
Oh,
I mean, I sit there and I literally want to rip the hair out of my head listening to these people. Do they not understand that it's the New York Jets? They are not running anything. They are not winning anything this year. Maybe they'll wind up with 6 wins at the end of when it's all said and done.
And they'll screw up the draft position. They're better off not winning any games the rest of the season.
But there are people who get paid professionally for a living who are still figuring out. They're going through the schedule and they're doing the old Mike Francesa win, loss, win. Are you out of your mind? They're prognosticating victories for this team. This pathetic disgrace of this is a 1992 Mets. This is the Torborg Mets that we're looking at right now. These underachieving losers.
And Mark, thank you very much for the phone call. I appreciate it.
You got it, buddy.
I'll end.
Keep up the good work.
Yeah, thank you very much, Mark. And I'll close the Jet conversation with this. And I tweeted this. I tweeted this the other day. The Jets will not have the worst record in franchise history. The worst record in franchise history was obviously 1-15 under Rich Kotite. But this is the worst Jet season in the franchise's history. And Peter, how could you say that? Because they're not 1-15. They've already got 3 wins. They'll probably win a game or 2 more. But this is the worst history when you factor in the way this roster was constructed. You factor in the hype. You factor in Aaron Rodgers. You factor in the expectations and the hype and all that stuff. And now you throw in the dysfunction and the coaching change and the ownership shenanigans. I don't know how you could argue that it will be written, at least written by me, the 2024 New York Jets, the worst season in franchise history. Period. End of story. End of Sports Bash for this Tuesday. Let me tell you what's coming up on Thursday's show, and I'm very excited. We have some in-studio guests coming in, so Tony is going to be busy vacuuming and getting the studio nice and spruced up for Thursday. I'm just kidding. I'll bring in the vacuum cleaner. I'll take care. I'll make sure we have a nice studio for it. It's always nice. Yeah, I'm only joking. In-studio guest here on Thursday is a brand new professional basketball team here on Long Island, the Suffolk County Stingrays, and they're going to be playing their home games at Stony Brook, at the great on-campus arena. Why can't I think of the name of the arena at Stony Brook? It's a federal credit union, but I can't remember the name of it. But anyway, trust me, I've been to Stony Brook games there. It's phenomenal. Suffolk County Stingray CEO Eric Boyd and head coach Danielle Marshall, the former UConn star.
Island Federal Sports.
Island, thank you very much, Tony. See, that's why he's the highest paid producer in sports radio. Island Federal Credit Union Arena on the campus of Stony Brook. That's where the Suffolk County Stingrays are going to be playing their home games. Eric Boyd and Danielle Marshall in studio on Thursday, so you want to stay tuned for that at 1 o'clock on Thursday. That'll do it for this elongated edition of Sports Bash presented by TicketBash.com. Thanks to my guest, Terence from FE Apparel. Also thanks to the big guy, Tony Walker, everyone here at Governor's Comedy Club in Levittown. Sports Bash presented by TicketBash.com and Ryan Anthony's Heating Service. Sports Bash sponsored by the Embassy Diner in Bethpage, by Bearcat Billing Service, the Marty Lyons Foundation, Living Legends, Sports Memorabilia, and Collaborate Studios. For our entire crew, I'm Peter Schwartz. Thanks for watching. Have a great day. We're back Thursday at 1 o'clock.